to, normally when you hurt yourself like that, you get as far away from the edge as you can get. Because you would be aware that I might tip over the side.
Right.
So you did, right? You got away.
I stepped many steps away from that edge. So I can't, there's no physical explanation for me.
Why you would be lifted in the air like a rag doll.
Yeah, thrown off the cliff.
Thrown off the cliff.
Yes.
Something did that.
Something did that. Something, because you don't pass out and then run off an edge.
And it's what your brother-in-law was feeling.
Yes, a sense of evil. As I look at it now, I feel that I had just kind of come back to God a few weeks before that. I had as a child felt that I was going to serve God in a larger way. I left that calling. I just decided to come back when this massive thing happened, and quite frankly, I believe that God allowed His protection of me to go away for a short instance. His protection was
His covering.
Yes, to essentially have me learn something, not through joy and wealth, but no, through pain and suffering. So but that's further down the story. The thing is, He saved me, and I'll explain it, because when I landed on that, and I'm still passed out, I came to because my wife. Well, I back up. My wife showed up. She got to the rock. She saw me. I was kind of face first, head down, because I didn't roll. I didn't kind of hit the thing and bounce down. I just smacked and didn't move. And she saw me, and she saw me kind of upside down.
And here's what Tiffany said. Paul looked bad. Blood was everywhere. A large flap of skin had been peeled from his scalp. Veins and clumps of fat hung from the wounds. I tried to get him to look at me, but he said, I can't. I tried to keep him awake, but he said, I don't want to. He kept saying the wind was weird. I bonked my knee. So you're kind of going back to what happened in the first place.
I was explaining it, which is very rare, because usually people that have a class 3 concussion or so will forget an entire day. And I was there saying immediately, I know exactly what happened. I smacked my knee. I fell off the cliff. I landed here. It was yes, but my left eye, it was kind of pointing this way. All you see was white. I had really no control.
Okay.
You can't see it.
Dave, can you show the mountain that you were on? If we could, there it is right there on the screen.
Wow.
Now, that's the rocks that you were 75 feet up.
Yes, way up
Way
there.
up.
It's unfortunately depth perception. Those rocks are much bigger than it looks like. It's actually stepped far back, but that is the area where I fell. And I'm climbing from the left to the right, and I'm falling from the middle side all the way down to the right side is where I landed.
And a little later, Dave, we can show then what he looked like in the hospital. But so we'll
Yeah, that's a pretty picture.
Yeah, kind of continue with the story. But the most amazing thing happened. Now, how did you get out of that situation and to the hospital?
Well, immediately, my wife went to get my son. My sister ripped her shirt off and wrapped it around my head because it was just blood exposed.
Everything was
exposed, and she obviously. I remember waking up feeling, my sister rocking me, saying, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." It was I remember seeing all dark, but now I know because I had a shirt over my eyes. I ended up laying on a rock. My brother-in-law takes off in a panic because he's had his 7-year-old daughter watch the 2 kids, the 4 and the 7-year-old. Right, so he takes off, goes around the wrong way, and he runs right into a surgeon being trained how to rock climb by an EMT.
This is amazing.
And so he says, man down. He's yelling, man down, go over there. And they had a neck brace, they had everything else. Then he ran into more people, Of the 50 people, I'm out here in Josh Street.
In nowhere land.
It's nowhere land. Yeah. Out of 50 people, 35 are medically trained that came to assist me. And I'm lying. My vision of those 2 hours lying on that rock is out of my right eye, and people come and checking me out, moving on, checking out, going on. I was alive, obviously. I was responded. I could talk, but all the responders were telling my wife, "You moved him. Be prepared. He likely has brain damage,
and you could be paralyzed.
Paralyzed
because you fell on your head.
Oh, I fell on my head, and got wedged. Right. He could have. I'm sure he has broken bones. He could have internal injuries or bleeding. He could be. He may be alive now, but this is really serious. They're trying to essentially prepare her. And so they eventually stuck me to a board, and it took more than 30 people in a human chain to get me down to the desert floor. I got my first helicopter ride to Palm Springs, to a hospital in Palm Springs. Didn't enjoy it very much.
Yeah. Now this is amazing.
And
you get in the hospital, and I just read you what he looked like. A large flap of skin had been peeled from his scalp. Veins and clumps of fat hung from the wounds. So get that picture in your mind. So you come into the emergency room.
Right. So of course they treat me like a severe trauma patient. I mean, many people die all the time rock climbing at Joshua Tree National Park. Certainly falling 4.5 stories without a helmet, without any ropes. I should have been a candidate to be dead.
Yes.
In fact, an EMT person said, you throw 100 people off of where I fell, 100 people will die. So
that's what a professional said.
Professional said, yeah, because my brother Todd stayed with the EMT guys and the ambulance guys after I flew with the helicopter because he couldn't come with, and he was with them while they did the accident report.
So you should have been DOA.
I should have been dead. And so when they were checking me out, they did a full body CAT scan, full X-rays. I remember getting talk about a brain freeze because I got 2 gallons of water put between my skull and my flaps of skin to flush out all the sand. I remember it was the worst cold headache I've had in my entire life. But as I sat there and was after all the tests had been done, doctors kept coming up to the front of my bed looking at my chart. Many doctors. And obviously I started getting concerned because why are so many doctors? And my wife goes, excuse me, what's going on? And they go, oh, haven't you heard? They're calling him Miracle Boy. And they go, what do you mean, why Miracle Boy? And they said, well...
Miracle Boy.
Miracle Boy. The doctors were calling me Miracle Boy. They said, well, we've done all the analysis. We looked at him across the board, and it's amazing. He has no internal injuries. He has no broken bones. He's not paralyzed. His skull is not fractured. In fact, his brain doesn't even represent trauma. Apart from the 35 stitches that they had to stitch up my head, and the staples in my knee, and the scrapes all over my body.
Which you could have got from a motorcycle ride.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Medically, he's fine. And in fact, even though, at the time I was working for Microsoft, you have great insurance. Insurance won't cover you to stay the night, so you can stay here if you want, but you're free to go. So.
But it was like the Lord just dropped you on a foam cushion. Except it was kind of jagged.
Yeah, it's so jagged. If you just do this, you'd cut yourself. The rocks are so sand whipped from the wind and the sand. It was quite amazing, isn't it?
In fact, I just wrote down some of the things you said. I felt my life's journey on this world was ending, that a new journey was about to begin. When did you experience that thought?
It's probably 2 thoughts. One is when I was laying on that rock, when the EMTs were all checking me out, and I didn't know, I was vacillating between, I wasn't going unconscious, but I felt like I was just on the verge of that. I actually felt my life slipping away. And then on the desert floor, I could hear my 4-year-old daughter screaming, "Daddy's dead, Daddy's dead," and that's a sound you just don't want to hear your entire life. That was just piercing. But even though I heard that, I felt an absolute peace about me. So I felt like if I was going to, it's like the peace of God that you just can't get. And people are so afraid of death. Yeah. But when you're in that situation of death, and you feel that you are dying, it's, at least if you're Christian, I felt a tremendous peace about me. So that was kind of like my life is ending. Yeah. But that obviously didn't happen. God did not end my life. My life did not end.